Christine White. Welcome to Hollywood Mindset TV. Today I'm really excited to have a very special guest on the show, Trevis Snowden. Trevis is an actor and a musician who currently lives right outside of New York City. I met him exactly 1 year ago today at an event in New York City. And the one thing I remember about Trevis was that he was very determined to be successful no matter what it takes. Trevis, welcome to the show. How excited are you to be here today?
I'm very excited. I'm always excited, to be able to share my journey and be able to talk to others. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad to have you. So before we get into the show, let me just tell everyone just a little bit about what we're doing here with Hollywood Mindset. Each episode is about capturing the mindset of success. So many people start their journey in the entertainment industry and they're focused on the wrong things. They're focused on getting a manager or getting an agent. And instead, what they should be focused on is booking work, making money, and getting the mindset that they need to actually make a manager or an agent want to work with them. So today, when we talk to Trevis, we're going to hear about his journey and how he had that mindset going in, which is why he now is working with an agent and a manager. So Trevis, let's get started by you telling my audience just where were you in your journey when you first met us last year? Like, what were you up to? Like, what was your life like then?
So before I met you guys, I actually I was a full-time student in school, and I had a full-time job. So like, in the little time I had left, when I wasn't doing either of those two, I was either at home working on music, or I was working on my acting stuff. And before I had an agent or a manager, I was on some of the casting sites. And so I would upload some pictures on there, and I would scroll and see what they would have on there. And I recently told somebody I was on Actors Access, and I had got booked a few times. And one of the times I had to actually go on my only day off, I had to drive up to New York. And usually it's like only about a 6-hour drive if there's no traffic, but there was traffic. So it was like an 8-hour drive. So I drove there right after I got off work. I drove there, and then I was there like 12 hours that day. And then after I finished that, then I had to drive all the way back to Virginia, and I had to drive straight to work because it was the next morning. So that gives you a little insight on the stuff that I was willing to do to, pursue my dreams. So that's where I was before I met VIP Ignite.
Travis, I remember that because I feel like we did our podcast either right before or right after that. And I was like, who is this madman who's willing to drive all the way to New York after work all day, drive all the way back, and then work? Because you were like, Janine, I'm so tired. I'm like, I don't understand why you're so tired.
That's very tired.
Yeah, but that's the type of determination that people don't realize. Like with a mindset like that, you're like, listen, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Because I also remember, I remember you being a full-time student and also working full-time. And you're like, I have all these dreams I want to do. How am I going to do them? And here you are, right? You're living what you wanted a year ago. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about what's going on between the event and, before we do that, why don't we talk a little bit about the event in New York, okay? Because I know you were there, and obviously you met a lot of great people there. So last year when you were in New York, like, what was your biggest aha moment?
My biggest aha moment? For me, my biggest aha moment is to know that you're not alone. Because a lot of people, when they're pursuing their dreams, they tend to think that, they're alone in this and they don't know exactly how to get to where they're trying to get to. But the people that are already there, they shared a lot of, stories on, their background and how they came to where they got. They just never gave up. They just kept pursuing it. They met the right people, keeping the people with positive energy next to you. That really helps too. Because having people with you that are negative only gives you negative thoughts, and it brings you down and just not good for you. So that was my biggest aha moment, just for them to be able to share that with me. So
that's awesome. And you're definitely someone who has a positive mindset. If you're willing to drive all the way to New York and back and still work like on both ends, that's awesome. Because I love what you said there about so you have to surround yourself by positive people, because the thing is that words matter, and the words that you speak over yourself matter, and the words that other people speak over you matter. And if you're surrounded by people who are like, yeah, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Then eventually you're going to believe that and you're going to give up. But when you find out that there's a community of people out there who are, we can all do this. Let's lock arms and do this together. Your whole life literally transforms.
Exactly.
So, okay, so you went to the event in New York. You had that big aha moment. Then what happened afterwards?
What happened afterwards? I ended up, well, before I get into talking about me getting a manager, I liked one of the things they had going on at the VIP Ignite event. It was the mastermind. Thomas Waits, he was a really good guy. We got a chance to go up there on stage and perform our monologues. And I went up there performing my monologue in a way that I saw it. I was kind of giving a little more of a comedic route to it. And I thought it was great. But Thomas Waits had another approach to it. And he showed me the way he thought I should do it. And then I did it his way. And I liked that. I actually liked that way better. But I liked the fact that I could, adapt in that exact moment and still memorize my lines. So, I like that. So getting the chance to, show your gift and someone to critique it. So, and then, okay, so now we get into the manager part.
Oh, hold on. Let me ask you a quick question first. Since you were talking about that, how important do you think adaptation is in show business?
I think it's very important because you gotta, in the entertainment world, you'd probably, you most likely have to do a lot of different things. So you can't just go in there, only wanting to do it one way, because you'll have to do it probably another. You just never know. You should be prepared. So your ability to adapt has definitely helped you get to where you are today, right? Absolutely.
Awesome. So let's talk a little more about your journey now. So you had the aha moment, you got critiqued, and you saw that you can adapt. So how did all of that help you to get to what you're doing now? Like, tell us a little bit about what you've done since I saw you last.
Okay. So I have a manager now. His name is Ryan Kobe. He's been sending me out on a lot of extra work and a lot of auditions. And some of these extra works that I've done was actually really cool. Because a lot of the times for the recent TV shows that I've been on, I would get pulled by the director, and he would like, I actually want you to like sit over here next to like the main cast or something. So I'm like, oh, that's actually really cool, because I get a chance, even though I'm pantomiming, it's still cool to be right there next to the cast and be able to, act alongside them, and then just to observe what they do, because like this is where I want to be. So like, I really appreciate that. And then aside from that, I've been doing a lot of like short films, auditioning for a lot of short films. And I had to, I've gotten a role for quite a few of them, but I was only able to do one this past month because I've been acting in a haunted house, which is really fun. But this one role that I'm doing right now is a detective role for a short film, and that's really been cool too, because I got to be in front of the camera again, and just that feeling is a whole nother feeling when you're able to just like act with someone on camera, with the camera just like right in your face. Other than that, Ryan has also got me an agency in LA, and Ryan just got back from LA himself, and he was talking with Alexandria. She's my agent in LA, and she was telling me she needs me to come there in January because she has like a lot of work that she wants to get me booked on. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's just kind of what I've been up to, aside from still doing music, writing songs and all that.
Awesome. So let's talk about being on camera. Like 1 year ago, did you think you would be a featured extra in shows or acting in short films? Like tell me about the mindset that goes into that.
So my mindset before, I always pictured myself doing that. It's just great that I'm actually there now. But like before all of this, I've always looked at the bigger picture, always dreamed big. And that's just how my family and I grew up. This is how my family taught me. It's like, if you see something that you want, just believe it and go after it, and it'll eventually happen. So I've always had that mindset that I'm going to get there. So it's just great to finally see that it's happening.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you're working on the detective film, and you're getting ready to go to LA for a while, right? What other kind of projects are you working on? You've mentioned music a couple times. So why don't you talk to us about your music?
My music? Oh yeah, like because I'm a singer and a songwriter, and I actually have had a best friend. I have a best friend back in Virginia that I was doing music with, but now like I'm up here, we still occasionally write music. But I've actually found another friend up here, so now we're kind of like doing music together, which is really cool because we're actually getting prepared to go do some open mics and some stuff like that. So that's going to be really fun. But aside from that, I'm constantly writing songs and working on music.
Now, how do you find the time to do both? Like how do you separate, like if you're studying all these scripts, and then how do you make the time to go out on castings and to go on set, and then also to sit back and you're like, you know, music is one of my loves. So how do you make the time to do that?
So if I'm not working, it's almost an all day event for me because like I said, you gotta study those scripts, and I study them in many different ways. Everybody has their own ways that they study them. I study my scripts in many different voices, or I'll do push-ups and study my scripts. I'll clean up and study my scripts. I just do different things to help me memorize. And when I'm done with that, then I'll dive into the music. Even if I'm tired, I'm like, I have to do this because, you know, I am trying to be someone great. So I got to dive into it. So if it's an all-day event, then it's an all-day event for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the way you just described that you study your scripts in a lot of different ways. How does that help you? Like doing push-ups and memorizing script and cleaning and memorizing script. Is there a way that helps it sink in your brain more, or?
It does, because instead of just only focusing on my script, I'm putting my brain energy towards other things. So if I can memorize it while I'm occupied doing other stuff, or even while like I'm on the phone and I can like in my head cite my script, even though I'm having a full-on conversation with someone, that lets me know that I fully memorized this script. So that's how I do it.
Oh, that's really cool. I never would have thought to do that. Maybe if I had done more of that when I was in school, I would have had straight A's instead of A's and B's. Where were you 25 years ago, Trevis, when I was in school? Don't answer that question. Do not answer that question. So, it sounds like you have some really big goals. So what are some of your big goals that you're putting into action over the next year?
One of the big goals, I really want to be on a TV show. Being in a movie is cool and all, but I would really like to obtain being in a TV show, because I would love to just have a role that I'm playing for years, and just to meet a community of, you know, other actors. Because most actors, when they're doing a TV show, they all build like that relationship that they get going. You know, I always dreamed of doing something like that. So I look forward to making that happen, and I will make that happen.
Awesome. It sounds like if Allie's going to be submitting you out for stuff in LA, that's a great possibility.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of TV going on in LA.
Oh, so I've heard. I'm excited. I'm ready.
That's awesome. So, let's talk a little bit about the transitions that you've made. So you made the transition from Virginia to New York. Mm-hmm. Now it sounds like you're making a transition from New York to LA. So how do you handle that? Like, can you talk about your mindset about that? Like what was it like moving to New York first, and then like how are you going to have to switch things up when you move to LA in your mind?
So like it was different. First of all, talk about the weather. It was different when I first moved here, because like I actually started getting sick a lot over here. It was just a change of atmosphere. So like my body wasn't used to it. So like I'm trying to do my music and like acting, but I was getting sick all the time. I was like, why am I getting sick? So I had to start buying a whole bunch of different like natural products. I'm into natural stuff. My mom's a nutritionist, so I use a lot of natural things. But aside from that, New York is very busy. Like Virginia is so slow in comparison to New York, but everybody knows that it's fast paced, so busy. So like coming here, I'm super nice, but like I noticed like if I'm hanging around in New York too long, I start to get a little aggravated, because like everybody's walking, but then you have those people that just stop on the sidewalk while you're trying to get places, and I'm just like, and I start to get angry. And I'm like, this is not me. I don't like to get angry. So, I just had to like adjust to the environment and all, just adjusting to the environment here in New York. But then the same thing when you transition into LA, it's just busy over there. And I'm sure when I start auditioning over there, like it's going to be crazy because LA and New York are the hot spots. So, you know, for me, I'm just going to have my mind right, just have my goals set and just go in there and do what I got to do. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, a lot of people who are going to watch this are pretty new into the industry, and so if you could give them a piece of advice, because again, you've done a lot in the last year. So if you could give them a piece of advice on how to be successful and how to maintain a good mindset, what piece of advice would you give them?
The advice I would give you guys is if you have a dream, pursue it. If you can get into any acting classes within your college or whatever the case may be, do that too. Or if you're a singer, practice working on your music. Have people sit down, listen to you do your music, and critique you, so that way you can make yourself better. I always look at it like this: if you have a gift and you love that gift, why not share it with the world?
Yeah, it's so important. I think that there are so many people that have talents that they kind of bury them, and
Yeah,
it's a shame to see that, because a lot of people bury their talents because of fear, because they're afraid, okay, well, if I go after this, maybe I'll fail. They said it's a fear of failure, a fear of success. And a lot of times, too, a lot of people are afraid because there's a part of their mind where they realize that if they become successful, things are going to have to change. So how have you dealt with like all of those things, too? Because I'm sure that your life has changed greatly. So how have you dealt with like the ebbs and flows of the changes that have gone on?
well, for me, I'm a Christian. so so for me, I've done a lot of I'm not gonna lie, like this has been a little stressful too, because like you're just doing so much. So like here, for me, what helps me is, you know, I pray, or I talk to my family and I talk to my friends, and you know they're there for me. So that's what helped me get through my journey. So I say, if you have family or friends, or if you are a believer in God, then you know, consult all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. It's so important to maintain who you are as you're growing, because we all have a core belief system. We all have a core of who we are, and it's funny because a lot of times, like people ask me questions like, "Well, I'm still who I am. I'm just doing different things now," you know.
Yeah,
And like for a lot of people, it's a lot of people who want you to stay the same. It's hard, but it's good that you have that good network. You have like a network. You have a family, like a group of
yeah.
people that help keep you grounded. That's awesome. So, what are your big plans? I know you're going to LA, and I know that you are. I know that you want to be on a TV show. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. I see myself hanging out with some of the biggest actors and some of the singers, you know, becoming friends with them. That's where I see myself in 5 years. Like I said, I'm visionary. I'm a dream big, and I'm here to make those dreams happen. My family and my friends, they're here to be alongside me, make those dreams happen. And then the big man upstairs is looking out for me. So
That's
that's where I
awesome.
see 5 years.
That's awesome, Trevis. So I just want to thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your mindset for success, because like I said, I'll never forget like the first couple of times that we spoke and you were like, yeah, you know, like that story of you driving back and forth to New York and then work, New York, work. I guess you slept somewhere. Like you had to have found a like 5 minutes to sleep in that like 48 hours or 72 hours.
I
But
don't know. I slept the next day. I called out of work and I slept literally the entire day. I did not wake up that entire day.
yeah, you're probably still catching up on sleep from that craziness, but that's awesome. But like again, like that story alone exemplifies the mindset of success that we talk about, that we want to highlight on our show, because so many times again people think, oh, you know what, I'm just going to show up and it's just going to happen, and that's not the way it works, right? You're living proof of that.
Nope.
Yeah, there's a lot of hustle. So I just want to thank you so much for being on the show today, for sharing your story, for sharing your mindset. And I definitely want to have you back on the show. Maybe we could do another show from LA so you could tell us how things are going in LA. Would you like to do that?
I would like to do that. That'd be cool.
That would be fantastic. This way we can follow your journey, because again, I would love for the show to follow people like yourself who are making things happen through hard work and dedication, and again, through having the right mindset. So we'll have to set that up, Travis.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And I hope that everyone enjoyed our show today. And if you did, make sure that you keep tuning in, because I have a lot of amazing guests lined up over the next couple of weeks.